Introduce yourself.
My name is Tia Dingle.
Tia, what type of dealership did you visit?
Chevy.
Chevy, all right. And when? Last night or this morning?
This morning.
Beautiful.
At about 10.
Okay. So tell us what went down.
Well, when I got there, immediately the salesperson saw me pull up. So when he see me park, he started walking toward me in the car. So he did greet me immediately, but the first thing he said was, "Hi, can I help you?"
Oh, boy.
And then he...
Did you let him have it?
No.
Or did you take it easy on him?
I was nice about it.
All right.
But he said his name, and he asked me mine. Then he asked me what I was looking for. And I told him basically, I wasn't really sure. But then we started walking toward the cars. And he said, well, because you're driving this, you might want to go with this kind of car. And he took me to the Malibus. And we looked at some of those. And he said he was going to get the key for one. So he left me outside for about roughly about 5-10 minutes.
Wow.
But the car was already unlocked.
Right.
So I started looking at it without him.
Okay.
Once he came back out, I let him know it was open, so I looked at everything. I let him know that time that I had a son, because he was talking to me about the car and leather seats and all that, and I told him, why I didn't want leather seats, and me having a 6-year-old was one of the reasons. So we kept walking around, and then we got to another car. It was also Malibu, and he asked me, did I have a kid?
He wasn't paying attention, was he?
No.
Wow.
I mean, he was a nice person, but he wasn't really listening.
Wow.
And every chance that he got, he did try to push me, letting them run my credit.
Right.
Every chance that he got.
Right.
I mean, he was pretty knowledgeable when it came to the product, because he did show me the product. He did ask me that I want to go for a test drive.
Right.
I asked him for a business card about 3 times. I asked him the price of the vehicles.
Right.
When he told me he was getting the manager for me to meet, he went and, I guess he told the manager he wanted me to meet him, and the manager walked into his office, and he never came out.
Wow. How important did that make you feel?
Not very important at all.
Right, because he excused himself and said, well, let me go grab the manager so you can meet him.
Right.
And then comes back with no manager. That's giving you the impression that what?
He didn't care.
They're not interested.
It was mainly because I told them that I was going through my credit union to get the car.
Right.
And that's why I kind of felt like he was pushy.
Right.
Because I kept telling him I would prefer to go through my credit union first.
Right.
Because that's where I want to go and see what they can do for me.
Right. And you know what? As a dealer or a manager, that's okay. That means that's a fallback. You've got your own money just in case. So pick out a car. They're still going to get paid if you pick out a car. And then perhaps you go through the process from start to finish and don't shortcut. Then at the very end, when they've earned the right to ask and it's emotional and now they've done their job as professionals, then at the very end it's very logical for you to compare.
Right.
But you're in defense mode because you're in logic mode. You're in defense mode of no, my credit union.
Right.
Because there's all logic. Had they done their job with a proper meet and greet, proper interview, a product presentation, a demo drive, the whole 9 yards at the very end, you would almost have felt obligated to allow them to see if they can do better financing had they gone through the process.
Yeah, plus it felt like he was trying to keep me there. I said I had to be somewhere about 10:30.
Right.
And he had no regard for the time.
Right.
And he kept saying, well, can't you just wait and let me take your information? And
right. So were you impressed by your visit?
Initially I was.
Right. Until they skipped a bunch of steps and didn't make you feel important, right?
Well, I realized that he skipped a lot in the beginning, but I was going based off of his personality.
Right.
And as time went on, I felt like he was just trying to make the sale. And
so he kind of sold himself at first in the very beginning, but then he lost credibility as he skipped some steps in the process that would have made you feel important. Because what we're doing throughout the whole sales process is building value. Right? And so he acted like he was excited to see you at first, but then quit building value throughout the sales process.
Right.
And that's why you ended up as you did. Okay? So what would you have done different?
Well, I would have done the greet appropriately, so that way all the information that he wanted to get, he would have gotten in the beginning.
Correct.
He wouldn't have had to, try to make me stay.
Right.
I would have found out what the person was interested in, and then I would have showed them the vehicle so we wouldn't waste time.
Right.
And if Oh, and I forgot to mention, the manager did interrupt us when we were talking.
Okay.
He didn't speak to me, and he didn't say excuse me or anything.
He didn't acknowledge you. Thank you for coming in today. Make sure you had all the information you needed to make an informed decision
Right.
before you leave here today. Didn't do any of that stuff.
No.
Because you know what? It doesn't matter how much time the customer has allotted, whether it's 5 minutes or 5 hours. Before you leave here today, let me give you all the information you need to make an educated decision.
Right. But I would have given all the information about the vehicle. I would have given my business card, because he told me he forgot his and started writing down. He wrote his name on something else and
Right.
gave me that, and just told me he would wait there as long as he had to for me to come back, because he wanted me to come back today.
Wow.
So
Okay.
I would have made the person feel more important, and I wouldn't have made them feel like I was trying to make them do something.
Right.
You know. So
Exactly. Okay. Well, do you see now why I had you do the homework assignment?
yes,
Do you feel a lot more confident just after 1 day of training now?
I do.
Okay. So when I said it was a life-changing homework assignment, can you see how now with the knowledge you're going to obtain, it could be a life-changing experience?
Yes.
Very good. Well, round of applause.